Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another WorldWide Canaries podcast. Obviously, no match today, no game today, but with this podcast, me and Lewis are going to be bringing you our thoughts, ideas, things that we think North City is a football club, or, as you can tell by the title of this podcast, Johannes Thorup should take a look at. Lewis, how about you get us started off here?
Well, this all came from the idea that against Preston and possibly Hull away, Hoff didn't quite make the changes necessary. Well, mainly it's because I saw what Signs was doing, and he was almost playing as the main second striker when he's a left winger and leaving Mahova no option. So I thought, what a better way to suit that to Signs than play him as a number 10, but also have Mahova as that wide option. So today we're going to be taking a look at why Johannes off Thorup, and it did work that one time against Preston away from home, why maybe he should be playing the 3-4-2-1. Now there's one person that misses out on this in this formation, and it hurts me to say this, but Emiliano Marcondes drops to the bench, but you could obviously just bring him in for anyone else because he's special.
Of
Yeah, let's
course.
take a look.
I mean, we know I am a D1, and I mean D1 Emmy Marcontes Glazer. I have made that abundantly clear on these podcasts, I think. And not seeing him is a bit unfortunate, but Lewis, I don't know if I can share my screen here, but I can show the podcast, the lineup. So we can kind of take a look
That's fine,
at
mate.
how that
I know the
works.
lineup anyway, so
Yeah, you can have it
it's,
pulled up on your phone, and we can kind of just like
yeah.
talk about it. So that's
Well,
what
I
we
could always
have here.
switch tabs in it.
Yeah,
Put it up
that's what
here.
we've got. Sargent up top, Borja and Jurasek as those two tens, Mahovo and Fisher as the wingbacks, Kenny left center mid, Nunez right center mid, Callum Doyle, Cordoba, Duffy, Angus, Gunn. Now, the one thing that really annoyed us 100% with the way Hoff has chosen his midfield in these past few games is there's just not really that out and out number 10. We've mentioned that multiple amounts of times. And as Lewis brought up first and foremost here, Hoff should just move Borja Signs into that 10 role. Obviously, we're going to have Emmy back, but Hoff just should have moved him there and then started Lewis Dobbin on that left hand side. I feel like that's an easy solution, and then we have that agile player that wants to get forward and make his play make all that kind of stuff. We will have him in that 10. I really don't know why we haven't seen this. We thought, and Lewis, correct me if I'm wrong here, we did think we were going to see this formation from Hoff, right?
Yeah, I think we all thought it at some point. I mean, because we saw as soon as we went 2-0 down against Preston, all the way back then,
Yeah.
he bought. I don't remember who he subbed off and who he brought on, but he switched to three at the back, and it immediately changed what we were doing. Obviously, we got the goal at the very late end of the first half, and then second half we looked completely different. We looked
Oh,
to like
yeah.
a more composed team. So I just think, especially obviously now this won't be our formation for Stoke because Doyle is suspended for 2 games. If we do have Cordoba, Doyle, and Duffy fully fit together, I think it's worth to try playing them three. Now I know that means we miss one of the midfielders, but you offer that much more width with the wing backs. We see Mahova and Fisher; they like going forward. Even Stacey loves going forward. So
Yeah.
maybe bring on Stacey at like half time. Stacey loves going forward. He can't cross that bleep. Yeah, I won't swear, but he loves going forward. So why not just do it? Why not? I think
Yeah.
at some point we need to see it. I think it would just work so well.
The one thing, I mean, you said that the midfield will be weak, but the thing is, these formations actually relatively overload the midfield because you would have Kenny, Marcelino, Jurasek, and Borja. You would have them in that area. That's four players right there, and then you have Mohovo and Fisher cutting inside, uh, causing width. They have that freedom on the sides. You can have Doyle kind of drop into the midfield at points. We can see Kenny drop down into the center backs. Like, excuse me, there is so much leeway and things we can do here in terms of interchanging our players, which I think with the squad we have currently would massively benefit us. And I want to see us do this because regardless if we get into the playoffs this season, I want to see some good football. And as we have discussed, and I know there's a group chat we're in, me and Lewis, and we always get completely frustrated when we see um, just the fact that we can't break down these low blocks. We've seen it the past few games with Preston, Derby, Hull. I mean, Hull, not as much. We're not really going to get into the whole game, but um, we can't break down low blocks, and this is a simple solution on how to do it. Hoff did it, as Lewis mentioned in that game against Preston earlier on in the season. He made this switch against a low block, and it works because it counters what they are doing. So I really don't understand why we haven't seen this since. And Lewis, I think what he did was it was Doyle, Cordoba, Duffy as the center backs. Because remember, Duffy made that
I'm
crazy
just having a
run
look.
and got the equalizer. I think Ben Crescene came on. If I'm not mistaken, I think he came on left wing back. It was Kenny, Marcelino, Borja, Sargent, and the rest I'm forgetting. You said you have it up?
Well, okay. So we started in a 4-3-3 with the back four with Doyle, Cordoba, Duffy, Fisher, and then we saw he switched to having Doyle, Cordoba, and Duffy as the back three, and then having Fisher and I believe Marcondes as the wing backs. And then obviously
Uh-huh.
at halftime he brought on Cade Gordon for Fisher to obviously offer that
Yes.
much more attacking, and then have Cernach and Sargent in the middle.
Yes. So he went with two up top.
I
So
think
it
he
was
played a
more of a
3-5-2. I think he
three
went
five two. Yeah.
more of a 3-5-2 than a 3-4-2-1. Yeah.
Which again, that's still we could interchange this formation, right? Instead of I mean, you can't really drop Mahova or Fisher, but like again, there's ways to interchange it here. You can put Crescenti in for Mahova. You can even drop Borja down there if you want, and bring in Emme. Now that's a big sacrifice, but again, that's just an option that we have. It's a different way to approach it, and we can't really do that in this 4-3-3 like every single week. If Hoff does this, it gives us so much leeway. It gives us chances to change the game at any single point just by making single movements around. And I think it is absolutely crucial. I'm going to go back to our face cams now. I think it's absolutely crucial to this system and the way Hoff wants to play. I don't think it's maybe Lewis. Maybe it's because Hoff just isn't confident in these players, which could be the case.
Maybe.
But
And if you're really looking at it, many of our goals we conceded this season have come from mistakes. Some of them from Duffy or Gunn, the experienced players. Some of them from Doyle, from Cordoba, from Slimani. Slimani certainly had a couple. I can't remember which one it was, but he basically gave up. It might have been the Plymouth game where he gave up the first goal, and then obviously he scored later on in that
yeah,
game. But it was just those are the teams we shouldn't be conceding against. But down to the mistakes, and maybe Hoff turned off Hoff a bit in terms of how many mistakes we do make. But I'd like to see. Obviously, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I would like to see us almost have a second team be in that three where he transitions into a 3-4-2-1, whether that means taking off many like two or three players at half time. Because we know what he did at Nordsland. He'd either played a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 or the three at the back. And it would work both ways.
yeah.
Because his team knew how to play in either position either way. So let's just hope he can figure that out soon.
Well, wasn't it was more so. Obviously, he played both formations, but I think the main thing we haven't seen is they would defend in a 4-3-3, but then they would attack in a 3-4-2-1 or 3-5-2, right?
Yeah, and now but almost at times we defend, we attack in like a 2-5-3.
Yeah.
If that's even a format. Yeah, a two. Because we see the many times when Doyle's playing left back, if he does play left back, he bombs so far forward. Or we see when Fisher plays right back, he comes into the midfield so much, so there's not really that option out wide. So I still don't know if the players understand where exactly they need to be when going forward. But I think when Doyle is predominantly left back, we are more likely to see that attacking in the three at the back because Doyle will just sit back. Whereas when he's playing centre back, it's almost like he wants to also get forward, but then that means someone else has to step back, and it doesn't really work.
Yeah, I think while we have Doyle this season, like take advantage of it. Like it, I mean, he has what the he's been playing as a center back the majority of the season, and what he has 6 assists from center back. I think some of them were from left back, to be fair, but
Yeah.
Doyle is a crucial part of our team. There's no denying that. But I feel like we also have another center back on the bench where I really want to see him play. Jose Cordoba should not be on the bench. Jose Cordoba would be starting every game for, apart from the top four right now, I think Jose Cordoba would be a starting center back for every other team in the championship, 100%. Like, it really annoys me, and like this is just a simple solution. Next season, right? If we go with this, then that's how we implement Brad Hills. However, I think Brad Hills is actually playing right wing back for Stockport right now, which is really interesting. I don't know if you've seen that. He's playing like right wing back.
Yeah.
Not too sure about that one because he seems too much of a unit to be played there. But again, we've seen Dan Burn.
Mate, the physicality outside, mate, is what you need.
Yeah, I mean,
What need the fullback?
we've seen Dan Burn doing that, and Dan Burn scored in the Champions League last year while being a 6'6" left back, 6'7" left back for Newcastle United. So I mean, there's all these kinds of things that we can do as a club, and I feel like if we do this as well, it would definitely. I think it would take away from the amount of mistakes we have in the back because we'll have that extra center back option to have a pass out. I don't know if you can look this up right now, Lewis, but is there a stat on maybe FootMob where it's like most errors leading the goal? Like, because we've got to be up there. We are probably number one in that stat if it's somehow there. 100%. Like, the amount... I can count one time. On the weekends, I have to listen to the games because I work during it. And the amount of times I hear Chris Gorham being like, oh, it's another mistake of Norwich's own doing. Every single game. And if we eliminate that, then we eliminate the goals we concede. Because half the time, it's just us. Lewis mentioned at the start, half of the time, it is us. And it's our own mistakes causing ourselves issues. And it is annoying.
Yeah, I can't find anything on errors for teams. So, I don't know. But let's just say, apart from the fact that Angus Gunn is statistically one of the worst keepers in the league, it's not that bad.
I'll tell you what, Angus Gunn is probably top 3 in the league. Angus Gunn is a quality.
Not this season. Not this season.
He saved us against Hull.
Not this season.
He saved us against Hull.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yes. And you got to remember.
Okay, if we look at save percentage, he's 20th out of the 24 teams.
Yeah.
And then we look at goals prevented, he's 24th. He's prevented minus 7.6. That means he's conceded basically 8 goals more than he should have.
Yeah. What you guys will realize more and more with this podcast, I 95% of the time give every single player the benefit of the doubt because I'm not a hater unless you're Ben Godfrey. But yeah,
What does Ben Godfrey have to do with any of this, bro? What, 'cause he's now Ipswich?
Yeah. I'm not a hater. Like, you hate on Adam.
Adam? I love Adam Eder, mate.
Huh?
He got us 9 million quid, mate. I love Adam Eder. He got us 9 million quid. He's not worth 9 million quid. I love it, though. Scored twice at Villa Park, mate. Didn't do that in the Norwich shirt, though, could he?
Who did he score against in the Prem? Was it Everton? Yeah, right?
Everton.
We won, right? Yeah, we did.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. Who was it? Was it
That was
Adam
when
and own
Richarlison
goal?
scored his overhead kick.
And there was an own goal.
Yeah, Michael Keane own goal from a Sargent cross.
Okay, Sargent claimed it as a
And
goal.
Sargent was playing wing. Yeah, Hoff, if
Dude,
you're
that.
listening, don't play Sargent right wing. Doesn't work.
Oh,
Unless
dude.
it's Watford away, then he scores a scorpion kick.
Okay, me and Lewis are both all Hoff, but if there is any point in time where Hoff thinks it's a good decision to start Ante Cernach as a striker and then move Sargent right wing, that's when I'll lose my faith.
It won't.
that's that's when I'll lose my faith.
If you want to play Ante as a striker, you play Sargent as well. Like you can't have you don't have. If you want Sargent as a striker, play Ante right wing. It's simple.
Dude, nah, dude. Imagine he did that. Oh God.
Right, you know what? For the next game, we're going with the front three of Ante Cernach on the left, Onel Hernandez up front, and Tony Springett on the right against Leeds United in the
Tony
playoff
Springett with
semi-final.
his torn. I think he's out for the season. I think
Broken back.
Oh, he broke his back. Oh
It was head like back surgery, and he's out for the rest of the season.
yeah. I feel bad for Tony. Honestly, he never really not good enough.
He's not that. He's not been the best.
I tell you who's another fall from grace. Josh Martin. I think he's at Newport now. We thought he was like a little hidden gem. He's at Newport. I think he got his contract terminated at
Notts County.
Notts County. Yeah, at the start of January, which is
You know who else is a fall from grace, mate?
who, mate?
This random winger called Row, like row your boat.
Wait,
A fall from grace.
Johnny Rowe, let's have a go.
Something like that. Yeah.
That guy? Oh, dude.
Apparently he's like warming the bench for with Neil Maupay.
Oh,
So.
don't disrespect Neil, man. This isn't the other player I will glaze 100%. Even though this is a Norwich podcast, I will 100% glaze Neil Maupay. He is one of my favorite players of all time. If you somehow are watching this for Norwich and don't know who either of us are apart from that, go check out my RTG I've been doing the whole year. I have like 900 games played with Neil Maupay, 1,200 goals in elite division
I don't know what
rivals.
he's doing, mate.
I just had to flex real quick, even though this is a Norwich pod.
Yeah.
And you have what?
I would say watch my RTG, but I don't film it. But just now I've got 1,033 games on Oscar Schwartau.
Yeah, you can clearly tell we both don't touch grass. But yeah, if you did enjoy this podcast, leave a comment. I know you can comment on Spotify. I was looking at it the other day, but that'd be greatly appreciated. Let us know what you think about Hoff, maybe going to that 3-4-2-1. Any ideas you have with the squad, and we will catch you in the next one this Saturday for Stoke. We will see you. Done.